My bad. I forgot to do that. Hello. It is me, 2D Odin. Am I live? I am live. Oh, okay. There we go. Good. Shut up, bitch. Welcome. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Woohoo. I should use my sound effects. The 3 sound effects that I have for free. Why am I not using the free ones? Hello. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Every single buddy. All right. Whatever. That's fine. It's like, Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yay. I, for one, never really celebrate it. Not anymore anyway. I used to celebrate a lot when I was younger. I'm quite old to be celebrating it now, if you ask me. I think if you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, like for realsies, like out and about and like, I'm gonna fucking rage and like all that stuff, you need help. Like don't be over 40. Don't be over 33, 35 and do that, by the way. So yeah. Am I paused or oh no, I'm not. Okay, I'm just not live. Yeah, all right. All right, so there's one thing that I have to do here. So I'm kind of freeballing this one. I kind of just wanted to have a good time. I am going to be reviewing Three Amigos. I'm going to be reviewing the Three Amigos. It's not necessarily a Cinco de Mayo thing. I'm not going to go into histories and this and that. I'll be honest, we never really did it as kids outside of school. When we were at school is when we were really like focused on the history of what Cinco de Mayo was. And in fact, I think we were very misled on what it actually was back then, because we were told it was Mexican Independence Day, which it was not even close. Cinco de Mayo is in fact I don't even know specifically, but there's a battle between us and the French, and then we ended up winning that battle. It's kind of all it is. Not that it's not a big deal, but I don't know. Mexico has done bigger things, if you ask me, than that specific battle. There's something that I'm trying to do here, so give me 1 second. Hopefully I can get it done while I'm doing this. So, yeah, Three Amigos, man. Three Amigos is what we're going to be talking about today, just because I think it's going to be kind of fun. Kind of fun, kind of celebratory, kind of with the theme. So, yeah, that's good times. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it is a very, very, very old movie, The Three Amigos. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Three Amigos is a very fun movie, made in 1986. Here's my notes. There we go. And I'm going to really, really, really quick read the synopsis of it. Starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase, the three prominent comedians of the 80s, 3 of the prominent comedians of the 80s, especially when it comes to movies and whatnot. They were up there. They were the top notch. They were the coup de grace of what comedy actually was back in the 80s. So, and this movie is actually is through and through proves that over and over. Just by trying to find the proper clips for you guys that I can actually use. I'm probably gonna get copyright strike anyway, but finding clips was fun, because it reminded me how actually funny this movie is from the beginning to the end. Quick synopsis: 3 out-of-work Hollywood actors in the 1930s. In 1930s Hollywood, California, accidentally find themselves fighting for their lives against Mexican outlaws in search for a grand role in Mexican silent cinema. That is my own. Nobody else wrote that for me. AI did not write that. I wrote that myself. It's only 60 words of synopsis, but at least I didn't use anybody else to write it. I was trying to mute that. I'm trying to mute that commercial. I'm not voting for her. What is she talking about? So let's get started. So the movie starts off with the 3 actors demanding from their agent more money in order to make more films. I think at this point they had made 3 different silent films as the Amigos. Amigos being the last one that they made. So essentially the agent did not give them more money, thus they were fired from Hollywood Studios. I think it was generic, like Hollywood Studios. I think it was exactly that. But yes, they were fired from the studio. They were not allowed to go back and recollect their belongings, recollect their costumes and whatnot. So they ended up having to sneak in. Fun fact, by the way, their agent is played by Joe Mantegna, who is the voice of Fat Tony on The Simpsons. So there's that. That's a really fun fact, actually. I do have chat. So festive it is, huh? Look at the things. Oh, I feel so Mexican. I feel so Mexican today. By the way, guys, I'm not cultural appropriating. I am actually Mexican in real life. I was thinking about doing my favorite top 5 Mexicans, but people kept calling me racist. So I guess I can't do my favorite top 5 Mexican humans. Whatever. It's not racist to have your favorite Mexicans. I have favorite Mexicans. I think we all have favorite Mexicans. We're just afraid to say it. Know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, fella. So I have one scene. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. I had it shared recently, and then I had to completely back out of what I was doing. So thus, I got to freaking start over and shit. But the very first scene that I wanted to share with you guys is the fellas find this opportunity. A telegram is delivered to them, and specifically to them because they're literally standing outside of the studio. It's very dark. By the way, another fun fact, this studio that they're standing outside of is actually a real studio. It's Gower Studios in Hollywood. And my grandma's house is like across the street from where this is filmed and down the street 2 blocks. So I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So yeah, they're outside the studio. It's very dark. They're like, it's not like, what does Steve Martin say? Something about to the effect like, it's not like jobs come out of thin air. And then all of a sudden, this messenger on a bike comes down, and he's like, "Telegram for 3 amigos." So they grab it and they read this note, and this note is from somewhere in Mexico. I don't remember if they named the town Santo Pueblo or something like that, but it's from somewhere in Mexico. And the way the telegram is written, it's written to imply that these men are being hired as actors. What ended up happening was Carmen, one of the main characters in the movie, one of the love interests, in fact, of Steve Martin, she saw the 3 amigos in a silent movie, and she's telling her little brother, "Oh my God, these 3 men can actually help us." She didn't really understand the fact that it's just an actor's role, I suppose. She just sees 3 men defeating 3 bad guys, and she automatically thinks, "Oh my goodness, these men can actually save us from turmoil." So they write a telegram, but they don't have enough money to complete the telegram. So they have to skip words. And as they skip words, it starts to read like they're hiring these guys to act. So the three amigos obviously say yes. They take the job as they're desperate for work. And they have to figure out how they're going to get the 3 amigo costumes. Their costumes are iconic. They're black and white mariachi uniforms with these huge black sombreros. They're actually very sharp looking costumes. So the very first scene I want to share with you is them retrieving their costumes. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Oh, goodness. I like how they're just casually just like, oh, we're just waiting. They're like, Yeah, we're just waiting. We're just kind of waiting. Like, oh shit, where is this guy? Where's this guy at? Like, what's going on? One of my favorite childhood movies, Mike. It's one of my favorite childhood movies too. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Actually, it's one of my favorite adult movies. So absolutely 1,000% one of the best movies ever made. Um, yeah, but yeah, that scene was pretty funny. It's I think it's movies like that that make millennials my age, I guess. Not that I want to like have this dumbass millennial conversation. I kind of have fatigue on generational conversations, if I'm being honest. But there's a certain time period, there's a certain season of movies, and there's a certain season of pop culture where it actually chipped away at certain things about our childhood and my timeline and my lifetime that brought about humor, and where humor was one of the more important things in our lives as opposed to other types of emotion, I guess. Humor though became a mold of a lot of millennials, which is why a lot of millennials, not to say that they're funny, we're actually quite cringy, to be honest, but we're cringy where we don't fucking care. No one gives a shit that's my age that I know of, that really cares what other people think about their humor or lack thereof or whatnot. I think The Simpsons is one and the same. There are certain things about The Simpsons that brings about a lifestyle to my everyday, where there's certain things I can probably be triggered by, I suppose, but you have this one scenario of a Simpsons episode and you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't have to handle it this way. Anyway, not that I want to get too deep, but there's something about a certain season of millennials where humor like this, the humor of, oh, I'm just waiting around, like, where the fuck is this guy? What? I don't know. And he's literally above them. And he's like, look over here, look over here. There's something about that type of humor that brings this philosophical idea and foundation of, I don't have to take life so seriously. And it's so underappreciated these days, and it used to be very much appreciated, but it's so underappreciated these days, the idea of that type of humor. I do too. I constantly, I mean, every day and every moment, it's movie quotes. It's all movie quotes. My whole life is movies, movie quotes, Simpsons quotes. That's all it is. But to carry on, so they finally get their costumes. They get them. They start to travel. They travel all the way to Mexico. They get there, and there's so many good scenes in this movie. Some of them having musical bits. They do like several musical numbers throughout the movie that I can't play because I mean, I care a little bit about them, about being so obvious about copyright. But so yeah, it's a classic scene where they sing, "My little buttercup has the sweetest smile," and the only reason why they start singing to these really tough, gritty Mexican cowboys is because they tried tequila for the very first time. I so wish I could share that scene with you. I was so afraid of being able to clip it. Anyway, but it's such an iconic scene because they get to Mexico and they think they're these big bad dudes, and like they walk in with this ego, and they quickly learn that ego isn't going to work for them, and with Mexico. So they try to ease the tension. They go in, they take the tequila shot, and then suddenly Rusty's on the piano. What's his name? I think Dusty's on the piano, and and the other two are singing and doing a dance for these tough guy Mexican men, and they kind of all get into it. It's a very classic, very iconic scene. They all get into it, and it's super funny. So they leave the bar. They mistakenly think that they meet one of the Mexican production assistants, and mistake that meeting for something else, when in real life the people that they were actually supposed to be meeting, if you guys remember, the German says to wait here. If you guys remember, they were supposed to meet up with the German, and they don't know who the hell that is. They don't know what the hell the guy's talking about, but what he's talking about is an arms dealer. The German is an arms dealer who's supposed to help the Mexicans fight back, fight and take over the land and the properties that they're trying to take over. So the German that they're supposed to meet walks into the bar almost as soon as the amigos walk out. So the German walks in. The Mexicans look at the Germans and like, who the hell are these guys? And as soon as the Germans walk in and they see that these men are not respecting them, they just start unleashing all kinds of hell. So everybody in this movie is mistaken for who everybody else is. It's just brilliant. It's brilliantly done. It's brilliantly done. So finally, they get kind of acclimated into how Mexico is. They start. They eat the food. They start to meet the women. They start to meet a certain family, a family of three beautiful Latino women, a father, a mother, and then a child. I forgot his name, but I call him Eddie because he looked like my neighbor Eddie when I was a kid. But if you guys remember, can I have your watch when you are dead? That kid. So very cute kid. So the family takes them in, makes them comfortable, makes them settled. Again, this Mexican village, this Mexican family holds them in, thinking that these men are going to finally save them from El Guapo. El Guapo being the evil gangster, the evil outlaw who is supposed to take over the town, who is trying to take over the town anyway. So they're treating them like kings. They're feeding them what they want to feed them. They're having a good time. They're having fiestas in the middle of the night. They're just enjoying life with them because it's their understanding that the amigos are there to save them. So the day one of shooting happens, and no pun intended, but day one of shooting for the amigos comes about. The amigos are ready. They're focused. They're ready to do their lines. They're rehearsing lines from previous movies because for the most part, their movies are all the same as far as dialogue goes. So they know what they're doing. They're ready to go into this. They finally meet El Guapo. They finally meet the crew, the rest of the cast that's going to be in this film, and they discover that what they are actually involved in is not a film at all, and they discover it in the most hilarious way possible. Let me find it first. Found it.
I like these guys. They're funny guys. Just kill one of them. Hold it! Hold it! Lucky? Jeez, you all right? What happened?
I don't know.
Oh, gee. Jeez.
Ow! Ow! Ooh!
What?
Oh! Ow! Oh!
Wait a sec.
Let me see that. Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
Oh, great! Real bullets!
I'll keep this. You're in a lot of trouble, mister.
Excuse me.
It's real.
What?
This is real.
Oh, it's finished. Okay. Okay, so right after he says, okay, this is real. Right after he says that, all three of them start blubbering like babies. They all start crying, like they all just start going nuts crying. And they have to recompose themselves. It is this movie just has scene for scene for scene the best moments ever. So they figure out it's real. They start to cower. They were like, well, we got to get the fuck out of here. We don't know this isn't for us. Obviously, we made a mistake. We have to go. So they decide they're going to completely abandon what's going on, abandon the village, abandon their hospitality, and everything, leaving everybody in the village of Santa Poco. Santa Poco, that's what it is. Hopeless, in their tracks. We need more Steve Martin. You know what? He's doing a show, Only Murders something with Martin Short and Selena Gomez. I haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. It looks hilarious. It looks interesting. I just haven't taken the time, and I probably should. But we definitely do have Steve Martin live still. Like, we still have him like actively working. Martin Short as well. Chevy Chase just did that interview, or that did that documentary talking about how awful he is. I don't know what that's about. I haven't watched it either. I don't want my dreams crushed about my heroes. You know what I mean? These men are iconic men of comedy. They are comedy. They are absolutely hilarious. I'm not interested in learning the bad side about somebody, because you know what? I have cancel culture fatigue. I don't care the personal sins of certain people for the most part, because it's not my business. Not a single one of us is innocent, but we want to sit there and crucify people when we have actually no reason to do so. It's just really silly. I forgot why I brought that up. Anyway, yeah, cancel culture. Like, we want to hold certain people up to certain standards, and if we're let down even just a little bit, well, the self-righteous version of me has to make sure that that's something that I like. All that. Yeah, cancel culture is killing comedy. That's my point. In that. I gotta stop doing rants. Stop making me do rants, Mike. Stop it. So they decide to leave. They decide to flee, abandoning everybody behind. They're trying to trek themselves back to the United States by horse. They have no money left. There's nothing. There's nothing left. The only thing they have are literally the mariachi suits that they're wearing on their bodies. Now, because they have to trek through the Mexican desert, they don't necessarily really know what they're doing. So they have to go by certain markings. One of those markings happens to be a singing bush and the invisible swordsman. And the invisible swordsman's supposed to. Oh no, this is after. So they decide they're going to leave. They're hanging out for a night. Thus comes the song "Blue Shadow" that Martin Short sings, and it's such a loving song, and it's so beautiful. And no, I did not get a clip of it because I don't think I could. But it's such an endearing scene, probably one of the best scenes in all of cinema history, where he's singing with the guitar under the desert stars. All the animals are gathered around them as Martin Short is singing this beautiful song, and then suddenly they all just fall asleep. And then the end of that scene, you hear the turtle, "Good night, Ned," and it's again another classic, iconic scene. So they wake up in the morning, and Martin Short has some sort of moral epiphany, where he just decides, I'm drawing a line in the sand. And that's literally the words he says, I'm drawing a line in the sand. He literally draws a line in the sand and basically tells them, we're either going to go back and fight, or we're going to go back home and do nothing. They have nothing to look forward to back in Hollywood, California. So he says, we can actually be the three amigos in real life. We can do this for real, or we can go back and be nobodies. We can go back and do nothing. So he convinces the other two amigos to actually figure out how they're going to fight. Now, the way they do it, I forget how it actually comes about. I haven't seen the movie in a couple of months, but it actually comes about where they have to do different steps, and it's almost Monty Python-esque, if you ask me. They have to find a singing bush, summon the invisible swordsman, and these are just these. It's just one scene of these two things, and it's just absolutely hilarious. I didn't get a clip of it either. I probably could have and should have. But again, copyright. I wasn't sure, like, oh, let me turn that down. I wasn't sure I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's usable and what's not. I'm probably gonna get one anyway, and maybe if that's the case, I probably should have just have used it. Either way. But anyway, so the singing bush, they're coming around a bend, and suddenly they see this bush, and he's waving his arms, and he's singing, "She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes." And so Steve Martin goes up to the bush, and he's like, "Excuse me, are you the singing bush?" And he asks the bush like 3 or 4 times if it's he asks the singing bush 3 or 4 times if he is the singing bush. They figure out, because the bush didn't answer, that it is the singing bush. So they have the singing bush. They have to do this ritualistic chant. All 3 of them have to say a certain chant in order to summon the invisible swordsman. So they finally do it. Chevy Chase is the last one. I could have sworn I just turned this fucking down. Chevy Chase is the last one to say his thing, and they have to point their gun in the air and shoot as they're saying their chant. So Martin Short does it. Steve Martin does it. Chevy Chase does his, but his gun is out this way. So he's like, yeah, whatever. And his gun's pointed sideways, and he ends up shooting the invisible swordsman who can no longer help them because he's been shot. It's so stupid. Meanwhile, while they're on their way to El Guapo's hideout, El Guapo is having himself a birthday party. Oh no! Before that, I have 2 scenes actually. I don't want to get to El Guapo's birthday party. I have one more for you guys. Before that, though, I have one of them wandering through the desert before they get to the singing bush. I forgot about that one. I'm going to share that one anyway because it's hilarious. Hold on. Did I push stop sharing? Oh, I did. Okay, hold on. I don't know who's still here. I don't know. If you guys are out at a bar for Cinco de Mayo, let me know. What is it like out there? What is it like out there in the real world where people can pretend to still have a good time celebrating a holiday we know nothing about? There we go. So here they are in the desert. Another great bit, another amazing bit in the desert, lost, wandering before they meet the singing bush.
Lip balm?
It's such a stupid bit. It's such a stupid bit. It's such a stupid, like, it's just so dumb. He has excess water. Let me just throw it. And then you see it just pouring out. It's stupid. It's so stupid. I wish movies were still made this way. I wish movies were still made this way. I think they're supposed to be, I mean, purposefully, blatantly obvious humor can be silly, but no. Three Amigos did it right. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, I have okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one because I was supposed to actually play that one before I explained the singing bush. And again, wish I could have actually shared the scene with the singing bush because it is an iconic scene. Another iconic scene, maybe not so iconic for everybody, but for my family. So, as I was saying, while the gentlemen were on their quest to find El Guapo's hideout, El Guapo was actually having a birthday party. And well, it was his birthday. One of the best scenes is the sweater scene, where his very tough, very dirty, very gross, very murderous men, his soldiers, his crew, buy El Guapo a sweater. He gets a sweater. And it's so great. It's my family. This is one of my family's favorite scenes, just so you know. Every Christmas, no matter what, but more than likely, especially if it's a sweater, no matter what, for years and years since this movie's been out, as soon as we pull something out, it's a sweater as soon as it's pulled out. So I'm going to share that scene with you guys now because that, for me personally, that is the most iconic scene in the movie. I gotta find it. Like, why would his guys come together and think to just get him a sweater? Like, why? Like, it's just, anyway. Am I explaining it too much?
On behalf of myself, Jefe, and the rest of the boys, we chipped in and got you this gift. Mochita!
What can you say about such men?
It's a sweater! It's a sweater!
Okay, sorry. Why is he so excited? Why is he so excited over a sweater? Anyway, that scene is perfect. This movie never fails to make me laugh. This movie is just so coated with the best type of structural humor, with comeback bits and all kinds of stuff. It's so good. It's so good. Like it's so good. Anyway. Okay. So as you saw, Martin Short was hanging above him. They snuck in. They somehow infiltrated and found El Guapo's hideout. I forget how Martin Short actually gets up there. But in one of the next few scenes, so they do capture Steve Martin. They capture Steve Martin. He's actually hiding, or he's actually locked up in the dungeon down below. Gonna make it. I don't know if you guys remember that scene, but if you've seen the movie, I know you remember that scene. So he tries his best to escape by moving the chains and manipulating them in order for him to actually reach the gates so that he can actually get the key to unlock himself out. Chevy Chase is hiding in a closet, I believe, in one of the rooms there in their villa. And Martin Short somehow ends up high like a drone, and he gets his foot lodged into a piñata that's hanging up there. So Steve Martin escapes. Chevy Chase gets caught, and El Guapo is trying to figure out like how the fuck are they showing up. Martin Short, as soon as El Guapo's like, "What is happening here? Are gringos falling from the sky?" And then, sure enough, Martin Short falls, boom, right onto the middle of the table. And then, what's his face? Jefe. He says, "No." Yeah, Jefe. He's like, "Yes, El Guapo." So it's like he's like so serious when he says it. Anyway, it's this movie's hilarious. This movie is absolutely hilarious. I'm almost positive everybody has seen it. right? Anybody who's watching or anybody who is going to eventually watch, you guys have all seen it, right? Leave a comment in the comments if you're watching this not live. If you are watching this live, leave a comment here now so that I know I'm not talking to myself about one of the most brilliant movies ever made. So one of the last scenes I want to share with you guys about the Three Amigos is a scene where the Three Amigos finally realize that they have to actually work with the village. They have to work with the people of Santa Poco. So what they end up doing is they're like, okay, let's brainstorm, let's get together. What is the one thing you guys know how to do? And then one of the old ladies, she's like, we can sew. So apparently the whole thing about this entire town, they're sewing buddies. They can sew. So because they can sew, they start to sew. They end up sewing all of these makeshift mariachi outfits so that every single person in the village looks exactly like the Three Amigos. And it's actually brilliant. It actually does work. It actually does take down El Guapo and his men, because everywhere they look, they are seeing the Three Amigos. Like, there's one right there, El Guapo. There's another one right there. And they're just everywhere. And all these people are obviously protected, but they use the masterful skill of disguising themselves as the Three Amigos in order to defeat El Guapo. Wait, what's going on? I've seen it. What did you see? Oh, you've seen the movie. Oh, I know you've seen it. Yeah, for sure. All right, so here is the last scene that I wanted to share with you guys, because even in death, even in tragedy, this movie just does not stop with the bits. Show on stream. Give me a second.
It's our only hope.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna rewind that actually. There we go.
It's our only
Oh, probably should not do that.
hope.
Oh, why did I do that again?
That was some good trick. Come closer. I have something to tell you. That was a good trick, too.
That's a bad clip. I just realized that. That's okay. So essentially, that is how the movie ends. The movie ends with the defeat of El Guapo, the redemption arc of the Three Amigos, who actually become real life heroes as opposed to on-screen heroes for their lifetime style. So that was that. Three Amigos. Obviously, if I'm gonna give it any rating, I guess if any rating 1 to 5, it will definitely be 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 sombreros. 5 out of 5 burritos. I don't know what other stereotypical things I can actually use. 5 out of 5 sombreros. Hands down, one of the best comedies to ever come out of cinematic history, but one of the best comedies to ever come out of the 80s specifically, for sure. Iconic all the way through. If you have not seen it, I didn't really spoil anything because you had 40 years 40 years to watch the movie, so that's on you, pal. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a really good time. I don't necessarily want to end the stream right now. I'm gonna end the stream right now because I have to get up for early tomorrow, so I'm gonna do that. Thank you guys so much. It's been fun. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Cinco de Mayo. Celebrate safely, celebrate responsibly if you're celebrating at all. Oh, before I go, real quick, Mexican facts. I'm gonna throw them on you. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. So I did write some historical facts about two of my favorite people that come out of Mexico. The very first one being Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. Now, she was born November 12th, 1648. She passed away April of 1695. So obviously, this is years and years and years and years and years before anything of modern Mexico was even in existence. She was a writer, philosopher, composer, and poet of the Baroque period. Considered one of the most important female writers in Spanish language literature, a pioneer for freedom of speech, women's rights, and sexual diversity. And I couldn't imagine back in the 1600s how absolutely hysterical that might have sounded. So what an amazing human being. Self-proclaimed worst nun. She was a nun in the Catholic Church. Wasn't necessarily a Catholic Church. Parathiotic Church, I think is what it's called. Back then is was called back then. But she was a self-proclaimed worst nun ever for that church. So she knew where she was coming from with who she was as a human being. So all respect to Miss Juana Inés de la Cruz. If you don't know who she is, and again, learn about it. My second most favorite Mexican in the world on this planet is Mr. Mr. Chente Fernandez, born February 17th, 1940, passed away December 12th, 2021, also known as Chente and the King of Ranchera, a Mexican singer, actor, and producer who left a lasting impact on regional Mexican music. His career spawned 5 decades, during which he won various awards, including many Grammys. His albums are known for their authenticity and emotional depth. So those are my two iconic Mexicans on this wonderful Cinco de Mayo day. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I've ever actually learned the history specifics of Cinco de Mayo because it just doesn't interest me. The second people told me, oh, it's Mexican Independence Day, and then turned around and flipped it. Well, it's really not. It's actually the French Revolution. It's not like I just kind of tuned out. It's like, okay, well, it is what it is. We already tainted it with our celebratory attitude towards the holiday. If it even is a holiday, I don't even think it's a holiday in Mexico. I really don't. I don't know, but I don't think it is. I haven't heard or seen a single Mexican. I know a few that live over there, believe it or not, that celebrate it. It's not like St. Patrick's Day. There are many people in Ireland that actually celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So I don't know. There's that. It's a conundrum. As uncomplicated a people as we are, there's some complicated history. So maybe I should probably do myself a favor and get to know it a little better. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you again for joining me. I will see you guys next week. I don't know with what, but I'll see you guys next week. Bye.